Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went there, or struggled to remember a name, even though it was just told to you? If you're over 60, moments like these can feel frustrating. But here's the good news. In many cases, small daily habits can help your brain stay active, flexible, and sharp. Today we'll explore simple memory tricks seniors can start using right away. They're easy, natural, and surprisingly powerful. Let's begin. 1. Say things out loud to remember better. A simple but very powerful memory trick is saying things out loud. When we only think about something silently in our minds, it can be easy for the brain to forget. But when we say the information out loud, the brain receives the message in more than one way. You're thinking the words, hearing the words, and speaking the words at the same time. This activates several areas of the brain, which helps strengthen the memory. For example, imagine you are putting your keys on the kitchen table. Instead of just placing them down quietly, you might say, "I'm putting my keys on the kitchen table." Or if you place your glasses next to your bed, you could say, "My glasses are next to the bed." This may sound simple, but it gives your brain a clear signal to remember where things are. You can also use this trick for daily tasks. For example, I need to call my daughter this afternoon. I will take my medication after dinner. Speaking the action out loud helps the brain create a stronger memory. Many people find that this small habit can greatly reduce those moments when we ask ourselves, "Where did I put that?" Sometimes the simplest tricks are the most effective. 2. Use the 3-time rule for names. Many people say remembering names is one of the hardest things, but there is a simple technique that can make it much easier. It's called the 3-time rule. The idea is very simple. When you meet someone new, try to use their name 3 times during the conversation. For example, imagine you meet someone named Michael. When they introduce themselves, you might respond by saying, "Nice to meet you, Michael." A little later in the conversation, you might say, "So, Michael, how long have you lived in this area?" And when the conversation ends, you can say, "It was great talking with you today, Michael." By repeating the name a few times naturally, your brain has more chances to store that information. 3. Use image associations. One powerful memory trick is to connect new information with a simple mental image. Our brains remember images much more easily than plain words. So when you meet someone new, try to link their name with a clear visual picture in your mind. For example, if someone's name is Rose, imagine a bright red rose flower next to their face. The image does not need to be realistic. In fact, the more unusual or funny the image is, the easier it is to remember. You can also use this trick for everyday tasks. For example, if you need to remember to take your medication after dinner, imagine a small pill sitting on top of your dinner plate. These simple visual links give your brain a clear signal to remember. With a little practice, this technique can make remembering names, tasks, and daily activities much easier. 4. Keep important items in the same place. Try to keep important everyday items in the same place every time. Many moments of forgetfulness happen, not because memory is weak, but because we put things in different places each day. For example, one day the keys are on the kitchen table. The next day they are on the sofa. Another day they are in a jacket pocket. When items move around too much, the brain has to search many different places. But when something always has one special spot, the brain learns that location very quickly. For example, you might place a small bowl or tray near the front door for your keys. Every time you come home, you simply place the keys in that same spot. You can do the same thing with other important items such as your glasses, your wallet, your phone, or your medication. Over time, this routine becomes automatic. You won't have to think about it, and you won't have to search for things nearly as often. Small habits like this help make daily life calmer and more organized. First, write it down instead of trying to remember. When we try to remember too many things at once, appointments, errands, phone calls, medications, it can quickly become overwhelming. Write things down instead of trying to remember everything in your mind to pressure off the brain. For example, you might keep a small notebook in the kitchen or near the phone. You could write things like, doctor appointment on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Buy milk and bread. Call my grandson this weekend. As you complete each task, you can check it off. This not only helps with memory, it also creates a pleasant feeling of progress and accomplishment. Some seniors also enjoy using a large wall calendar. Writing important events on a calendar makes it easier to see upcoming plans at a glance. Remember, writing things down is not a sign of forgetting. It is simply a smart way to stay organized and keep your mind clear. 6. Break information into smaller chunks. Our brains often remember information better when it is grouped into small sections instead of one long list. For example, imagine trying to remember a long number like this: 497218635. That can feel difficult. But if we group the numbers into smaller chunks like this, 427 22625, it suddenly becomes much easier to remember. You can use this technique in many everyday situations. For example, when remembering a shopping list, instead of thinking of one long list of items, try grouping them into categories. For example, fruits, apples, bananas, oranges, dairy, milk, yogurt, cheese, bakery, bread and muffins. Now your brain only needs to remember 3 small groups, not a long list of separate items. This technique can also help with remembering phone numbers, directions, or steps in a task. By breaking information into smaller pieces, the brain can organize it more easily. And when information is organized, it becomes much easier to remember. So, gentle movement supports memory. Another simple way to support your brain is through gentle daily movement. You don't need intense exercise to benefit your mind. Even light physical activity can help improve blood flow to the brain. When blood flow increases, the brain receives more oxygen and nutrients. This helps support memory, focus, and overall brain health. A short walk is one of the easiest and most effective activities. For example, you might take a 10 or 15-minute walk around your neighborhood, walking in a park, along a quiet street, or even inside a shopping mall. Small amounts of movement each day can make a meaningful difference over time. Remember, you don't need to move fast or push your body hard. Just moving a little every day helps keep both the body and the brain active. 8. Use smart reminder tools. Today, many everyday devices can help remind us about important tasks. And the good news is, most of them are very easy to use. For example, you can set a reminder on your phone to alert you when it's time to take medication. You can also use alarms for things like doctor appointments, watering plants, or calling a family member. If you prefer something simpler, a small weekly pill organizer can be very helpful. Some people also like using sticky notes placed in visible places, like the refrigerator, bathroom mirror, or next to the coffee maker. These gentle reminders can make daily routines much easier. Remember, using reminders is not a sign of forgetfulness. It's simply a smart way to support your brain and stay organized. In fact, many people of all ages use reminder tools every day. Now I can talk and share stories. Conversations gently stimulate many parts of the brain at the same time. When you talk with someone, your brain is remembering words, forming sentences, listening carefully, and responding. For example, you might call a friend and talk about your day. You might share a memory from your younger years with a grandchild. You might simply chat with a neighbor while taking a walk. Even small moments of connection can stimulate the brain. When you tell a story from your past, your brain is actively recalling details, organizing memories, and expressing them in words. Ask questions during conversations. Help to encourage the brain to search for memories and bring them back to life. Feeling connected with others can reduce stress and loneliness, both of which can affect memory over time. 10. Drink enough water to maintain focus. When the body does not have enough water, the brain must work harder to perform basic functions. This can lead to forgetfulness, mental fatigue, and reduced attention. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps keep the brain alert and supports clear thinking. For many people, a simple habit like keeping a water bottle nearby can make it easier to stay hydrated. Water also helps maintain healthy blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that support cognitive performance. You don't need complicated routines. Just remember to drink regularly during the day. Small, consistent habits like this can quietly support better memory and sharper focus over time. 11. Do new things to build brain connections. When you try something new, even something small, the brain must think, adapt, and form new pathways between brain cells. For example, walk a different route instead of your usual path. Try cooking a new recipe. Learn a few words in another language. Listen to a new genre of music. Try a brain game such as Sudoku or crossword puzzles. If you would like to challenge your brain a little more, you might try learning drawing or calligraphy. Forse maritina, practicing a gentle dance. Learning how to use a new app on your phone. Joining community activities or groups. These activities help the brain stay engaged and active, while also bringing enjoyment and a sense of purpose. Even after the age of 60, trying new things every day can help support memory, focus, and emotional well-being.
12. Repeat after 10 minutes. When we first hear or learn something new, the brain usually stores it in short-term memory. If the information is not reviewed again, it can easily fade away. A helpful trick is to repeat the information about 10 minutes later. For example, if someone tells you their name, try saying the name quietly to yourself again a few minutes later. If you read an important piece of information, pause for a moment and try to recall the main idea. This small act of repetition helps the brain strengthen memory pathways, moving information from short-term memory into long-term memory. Simple habits like this can gradually help make memory stronger and more reliable over time.
13. Keep your brain active. Just like the body needs regular movement, the brain also needs activity to stay healthy and sharp. There are many gentle activities that help stimulate the brain, such as reading books, magazines, or short articles, solving puzzles like crosswords or Sudoku, playing board games or card games, learning small new things every day, watching educational programs, and reflecting on what you learned. These activities encourage the brain to think, recall, and process information, which helps maintain mental sharpness. Talking with others is another powerful way to keep the brain active. Spending time with family, friends, or community groups can therefore support both mental health and brain health. 14. Keep a relaxed mind. Stress can keep the mind busy with many thoughts, making it harder to remember even simple things. That's why keeping your mind calm and relaxed is an important way to support memory. There are many gentle ways to help your mind relax, such as taking slow, deep breaths for a few minutes, listening to soft, calming music, going for a peaceful walk outdoors, reading a book or enjoying uplifting stories, spending time on hobbies you enjoy. Many people notice that when they relax, something they were trying to remember suddenly comes back to them. 15. Sleep is when the brain stores memories. While you sleep, the brain reviews what you learned during the day. Important information is strengthened and moved into long-term memory, while less important details are slowly cleared away. This process helps your brain stay organized and efficient. It also explains why sometimes, after a good night's sleep, a problem that seemed confusing the night before suddenly feels much clearer in the morning. You can support your sleep by going to bed at the same time each night, keeping your bedroom quiet, cool, and dark, avoiding bright screens before bedtime, creating a calming evening routine, such as reading or listening to soft music. These small habits help signal to the brain that it is time to rest. Remember, the brain is remarkable. It can continue learning, adapting, and building new connections at any age. Small daily habits, like the ones we shared today, can make a meaningful difference over time. So be patient with yourself. Stay curious. Keep your mind active, and most importantly, never stop giving your brain new reasons to grow. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to The Ageless Mind for more simple tips that support a healthy, active mind after 60. Sleep well, stay curious, and stay ageless.